welcome everybody. Welcome to Tom's Guitar Show. I'm Guitar Tom. They call me Guitar Tom because I'm often seen with the guitar. And they call me on the phone. They say, "Hey man, what's your show about anyway?" And I say, "It's about an hour about guitar players, guitar playing, all things guitaristic." So if you want to call the show and ask me a question about, how to play the guitar, the care and feeding of your guitar, what kind of guitar is right for you, maybe some related topic like guitarrón, cithara, lute, oud, vihuela, banjos, balaicas, bazookies, bajos, sextos, mandolins, mandoras, mandolas, tiples, cavaquinhos. I got an interesting thing to say about a cavaquinho, but I'll save it. Maybe pipe organs, piccolos, accordions, and ocarinas, clarinets, clavinets, serpents, crumhorns, cornholts, cornetos, ukuleles and banjoleles. Anything with strings on it, anything that you blow on, make music with. Trombones, trombomarinas, timpanis, timbales. Politics, world events, human personality problems is fine. We're here for you on the show, but keep it clean. This is a family program. All right. I just want to say, I should have written it down their name. I'm going to put it on my Twitter feed, I guess, but there's a band, kind of a wild bluegrass-ish band, with somewhat irreverent lyrics and so forth in their songs. But instead of mandolin, they have a cavaquinho. And for those of you who aren't steeped in samba music, a cavaquinho is like a mandolin. It's tuned like a mandolin. Actually, there are three different tunings, and I don't want to get too nerdy on you, but one very popular tuning is just like a mandolin, but it looks like a ukulele, has wire strings, and it's shaped like a ukulele. So it's like a little guitar with four strings, but it's tuned like a mandolin or a violin if you prefer. So it's a little plectrum thing, and it's high and crisp and everything, but it has single strings instead of double strings like a mandolin, and it has a different shaped body, if that makes any sense. Looks like a little ukulele, but it has metal strings and it's high tension and high pitch. So, the notes would be like, those would be the notes, and the open strings. And then so there's this band, and instead of mandolin, they have a cavaquinho. It's Brazilian, it's a big thing in Brazil. In Brazil, the cavaquinho is like a lower rent musicians type of thing. The higher rent musicians play a bandolin, which is basically a mandolin. It's a little different shape from a lot of mandolins, a little squat thing. I have one. I've had it on the show a couple of times, but anyway, I don't have a cavaquinho yet. But anyway, I'm saying bluegrass band with out of Tulsa, and the guy plays a cavaquinho instead of a mandolin. And I thought, well, that sounds like something I'd do, because I always was a rebel. What if you rebel and you do something, like a statement like that, and nobody notices? Was that a ukulele? No! It's a cavaquinho. Anyway.
A Brazilian ukulele.
Sort of, yeah. But it sounds very different, because ukulele is lower pitch and has soft strings. This is high pitched, has wire strings. So it's more like a mandolin. Anyway. I kind of want to have one,
Of course you do.
Of course I do. I have an issue, When I worked down my debt at the guitar shop, I bought a reverb, and I had a pickup installed in a guitar. I paid that off, and now I've got to pay off the reverb. And then also, I bought another bass a few weeks ago, but I'm waiting for one more string. It's a 6-string bass, so I'll have it on the show here eventually. Anyway, I do plan to bring a couple of basses on and do a kind of a bassy show sometime. I think that'd be fun. Maybe I'll do that next week if I get my new string in, but because it's really boring. I'm like a really boring person. Okay, so I got the 6-string bass, but it had these round wound strings, and I didn't like them very much. I got flat wound jazz strings. They had them in stock for 5-string, but they didn't have the high C string, the high pitched, the first string, which is very high, and so I had to order it, So I have 5 flat wounds and a fairly crummy round wound, little skinny C string. When I get that all together, get that string on and stuff and finish my adjustments, I plan to bring the thing in. Plus the bass I already have, 6-string fretless bass, that's huge. And I've So, and then
And a stand-up bass?
I could do that. I have a Honda Fit, but not. You could fit a bass in there, but not necessarily.
Nothing else.
It's about it. Yeah, yeah. So I have to make 2 trips, I suppose. But I'd like to bring a stand-up bass in. But anyway, I play that on Tom's Guitar Show specials and everything. But that's because Joey, the bass player in the Tribbles, she borrows my bass because I have a pickup on mine. So you plug it into an amplifier, a little pickup under the bridge, but she drives it because she plays it mostly, and she has an SUV. So, yeah. Is that spot on the monitor over there? Is that just a spot on the monitor? Huh. Why am I asking these questions? Is that a fly or something, or is that just is that going out in my arm here? See that in my arm there? Are you seeing that too? Yeah. Ah. Somebody sneezed on your camera. Yeah? Still there. I got a mole on my arm. I could match him up. There we go. Let's line him up. I better play something. This is ridiculous. It's still there. Well. As long as I play in high positions, you can hardly see it. Or low positions.
It doesn't move with my camera. It's on this camera.
Ah! Still there.
Is this camera?
You know, the other thing is kind of boring, um, but the sort of thing I'm interested in is when I was playing that thing there, I was thinking of D flat minor, you see, and having a little trouble playing the right notes. And then I started thinking, well, how about C sharp minor? D flat was D flat minor, but now it's C sharp minor, and then I had no problem at all. It was just fine. See, C sharp minor, relative minor of E, you know. I mean, it was easy. I don't know. I mean, that's sort of like another level of that. Is the glass half full or half empty thing? And you know, I mean, think about that glass, half a glass of milk or whatever like that. I have a half a gallon of milk in the refrigerator. I'm not worried about it. My glass is half full. It was my gas tank coming out of Omaha. You see, that's what I.
Any place out west where the gas stations are 100 miles apart.
Yeah, well, there's a certain spot, you know, when you get past Council Bluffs, between that and Des Moines, you know, there are a lot of kind of empty spaces, you know. It's kind of course, once you start going across Nebraska, it's more so, but
Yeah, the further west you get, the farther apart things are.
yeah, things are bigger out there, yeah. Bigger sky, bigger gas tanks.
Bigger states. States are like 500 miles wide out there.
Yeah, it makes a difference.
And the state has a population about like Iowa City.
Yeah. I said when Dick Cheney was a congressman from Wyoming. You know, Wyoming has one congressman and two senators.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of states have like a whole bunch of Congress critters.
Right.
And,
Yeah, California. What do they got? 50 congressmen or something?
yeah, and two senators. But it's like one of those things.
Well, that was how they got the less populated states to join the union.
Yeah, give them two senators.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the comparable number of votes in the electoral college.
Yeah. Huh.
Because Iowa's down to 4 congressmen now and 2 senators.
Yeah. And a couple of them are a little strange.
Yeah.
But actually, I haven't heard much about Steve King or was that the congressman from Western Iowa for a little while?
Yeah, I think he made the news a couple weeks ago for something. Can't remember what, but something goofy as usual.
He made the news a lot, though. For a while, it was on there quite a bit, but maybe I'm just not paying enough attention.
Well, we probably need somebody new every now and then.
You have to do something kind of, it's like various kinds of rock stars, you know, you have to do something kind of goofy every now and then so people pay attention to you. So like Lady Gaga taking off her clothes or something.
It's like you don't hear much about the war in Afghanistan today. Now they're tired of talking about it, want to talk about Syria.
Yeah. I suppose Americans still getting killed there, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah, there just within the last week, some either a cop or an Afghan soldier opened fire on well, they say NATO troops, which mostly means Americans.
Well, there are French and Canadians there too.
Yeah, there are other people, but the numbers are tiny compared to the number of Americans.
Huh. Yeah, well, I like that shot, man, with the blue lights and stuff. With the house of blue lights. Well, I've been playing this guitar quite a bit the last week or so or less. I think I took this to the moon. No, did I?
What moon would that be?
Well, I play at the Tuscan Moon on the weekends. I've got 4 gigs this week. Thursday night I'll be at the Mendoza Wine Bar in
Which is in beautiful Coralville.
beautiful downtown Coralville. They didn't used to have a downtown, but they built one. And so I'll be there.
Right next to the Civic Center?
That's right. And then I'll right across from the West Music, and right in the, they have a performing arts center there. So the back door of the wine bar empties into the lobby of the Performing Arts Center. So you can have a bit of a nogging in between in the intermission if you so choose. And sometimes that really helps the cello recitals. Although it might put you to sleep too. So, what if they have coffee? Anyway, never mind. It's all mood. I don't drink at all, actually. I play guitar while other people drink. You see. So,
Yeah, it's kind of late to be drinking coffee too.
yeah, well, some people drink coffee all the time. They're immune, but
I did when I was much younger, but I can't do it anymore.
I could have danced all night. I could have danced all night.
Could have drank coffee till midnight and still slept, but
Yeah, well. No, I'm actually I drink less coffee than I used to. I just I just do the coffee once, and then, I start my day with a mug of strong coffee, and then that's it. I don't want to be a drug abuser. Funny thing is, when I used to teach at elementary school, I made up the humorous. I think I said this on the show last week, but I made up the humorous lyrics to the Secret Agent Man, about a man who's highly caffeinated.
Right.
And not only did the kids not get it, but one of the mothers complained that I was teaching children about drug abuse. It's coffee. I mean, anyway.
on my road trips, I've come to be a big believer in those 5-hour energy things,
Oh, really? Huh.
especially up in the mountains.
Oh.
Get up where the air is thin and I get dopey.
Oh, really? Huh. I kind of feel good at higher altitudes. I was born in Missoula, Montana, and then I moved down to here in the flatlands when I was like a baby. But whenever I go in the mountains, I feel kind of good.
I very often spend the first night on the way home in Missoula.
Really? Nice little town, isn't it?
Yeah.
But,
We went there one time. I think they're like 600 miles from Sturgis. But we pulled into Missoula one night during Sturgis week, and every motel on the highway was still packed with motorcycles.
yeah.
And even downtown, we got a room downtown, but the lots, the hotels down there were packed with motorcycles too.
Huh.
And like I said, I think they're 600 miles from Sturgis.
Yeah, but, we live in one of these kind of central states. It's not a tiny state, but it's not huge.
Right.
Like a Dakota or a Wyoming or something. Montana's a pretty good sized state. Mountainous though. Yeah. But anyway, so like I was saying though, I'll be playing at the Mendoza Wine Bar on Thursday night from like 7 to 9:30, 10, something like that. Supposed to play till 9, but I usually play later.
And then the Tuscan Moon Friday and Saturday.
Tuscan Moon Friday and Saturday, beautiful downtown Kelowna. I hope the weather's like it is right now, warm and sunny, and so I can be outside just a little longer because outside's so much nicer. It's been kind of like slower in the evenings when it rains so much on Saturday. It was kind of slow.
Make a reservation if you're coming for a meal.
Yeah, I recommend. Well, you have to go for a meal. You can hang around the pub for a while and have a drink, but it's if I'm playing indoors, you're going to be really far away from where I am, and when it gets cold, they're going to probably close that pub up anyway. But anyway, so I'll be there Friday, Saturday nights. Supposed to start at 6, so I usually start at 6:30. But now I've been late, 6:40 more like. I'm getting later, But really, the thing doesn't start happening until about 7, so it's okay.
You said you had a 4th gig this week.
Yeah, the last 2 weeks I've been playing at the Journey Church in Coralville, basically. It's in the corridor off of Oakdale Boulevard, right by the hospital or the hospital prison or whatever.
Classification Center.
Classification Center, the prison, and it's a small startup little. It's a Church of Christ. Now I'm not really a theist by nature, or anything like that, but it's kind of a very liberal thing. They're going to bless pets this week because Francis of Assisi.
I saw one of the Catholic churches was doing that last week, I think.
Yeah, well, it's like Francis or whatever. So they're going to bring some dogs and things, and I'll not bring the cat because she just howled the whole time, and I have to keep her in a cage and traumatic. But
my wife's cats don't do well around other animals either.
Yeah, well, or even just getting near the car. It's not because
Right.
she's taking a trip in the car. I've had other cats where they get right in the car, and they go with you.
That's never been our experience with cats. Dogs love to ride in the car.
Well, I had the cat and the dog for many years, and the cat would sometimes decide he wanted to go along with us, and it was hard to get him out because he'd go somewhere, it'd be hard to catch him. So I just let him come along, and but the dog would always want to go for a ride. But the cat would go too sometimes when he wanted to, and we'd go places. The cat would look out the window. But the the other cat we had, Torben, he had a lot of health problems. He went to the vet quite a bit, and we'd go up to Solon, the vet up there in Solon. And
there are two.
oh yeah, this was
Paduska and Davis.
Davis is one, yeah. Davis, but anyway, Dr. Davis. But he was like, I just pick him up and I put him in the car, and he, look out the window and stuff like that. So look at the cows and say, "Oh, those are the biggest cats I've ever seen," And then take him in there, and I just carry him in, and he'd climb up on my shoulders and wrap around my neck, And then when it's time for us to go to the observation room, there's a metal table. I just tap it with my finger, and he'd jump down, and then we'd have to hold him down for his shot, because he had these allergies and things, and he had to have these shots all the time. But this cat, Attila, she's doesn't want to go anywhere. But she's
my wife's cats are like that.
Yeah.
They don't want to ride in the car. They don't want to go to the vets. They really don't like it in the vets if there's other animals in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, this one I put her in a little cage, and then I turn the cage up and I open the door and I go, and I pour her
My
out.
wife's little cat, if we put her in a cage, she'll rub the skin right off her nose trying to get out of it.
Yeah. Huh. Well, felines. Nothing more than felines. Trying to forget my fuzzy little gato. Okay. But anyway, so I'll be playing there at 11 or no 10:30, I think it is. Yeah, so I'm there at 10:30.
Is that Sunday morning?
Sunday mornings, yeah, and it's my agreement there is I can wear my hat, and I don't have to be a theist. So and then if that's as long as I'm okay, that.
It seems welcoming enough.
Yeah. So but I played things like last week. I played a couple days ago. I played "Stand by Me," and and then I played that song, Leonard Cohen's song "Hallelujah," which isn't necessarily. It does mention a psalm. Stuff like that.
Don't suppose he's got the whole world in his hands in your repertoire?
Well, yeah.
There you go. Jesus loves the little children.
Yeah. What's that to the tune of?
Red and yellow, black and white, they are precious in his sight.
Yeah, that one. I haven't been doing any of him kind of things at all, though, actually. The closest thing I'm thinking about is I've been working on this last couple of days. I'm sure if I remember at the end. I worked on this last night.
Little Jesus Christ Superstar.
Uh-huh. Sorry. A6. You forget that one chord.
Just think of the old joke. How do I get to Carnegie Hall?
Practice? Well, actually, that's not too bad for it. I did it late last night, and then I had to one of my guys at Coe College didn't show up, so I worked out there, but I didn't bring the music with me, so I didn't think I had it memorized. I pretty much have it. My problem is I have these like flaws in my memory. You know, if I think too much, and there's it's like a.
Well, before yesterday, when was the last time you played it?
What was the last time I played it?
Yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it?
I never knew it before, really.
Oh, it's something new you're working on.
Yeah, I just started. It started last night. I mean, I fool around. I've kind of fooled around with it a couple times, but I didn't really look it up. So I looked up the music and read it off the page. And so the trick is to imprint memories in your head so you don't forget them. We looking for this.
Looking for our spot?
It's a spot on the wall. It's like a freckle on the wall.
It's on the wall.
No, if you move,
but
it
it's
moves
my-
with the camera.
It's my arm. It's in my arm too, though. Look at that. Or no, I see, because my arm is on the wall.
But if you move that camera, the spot moves too.
Yeah, the spot is on the wall right
Ah,
behind the neck of the guitar visually.
yeah.
It's like a different colored chip of paint.
Huh.
Oh, I see. All right. So it's not being covered by the mat.
I see. Well, we're trying to get us all the. Did you ever see that Three Stooges one sing a song of six pants? And they were tailors, and they're about to have their equipment foreclosed on from their collection agency of Skin and Flint.
Yeah.
And so there's this one where Larry has a spot on a pair of pants, but it's actually a hole in the ceiling, and the light's coming down. So he's scrubbing until he finally gets a hole through the pants. He said, "Well, at least I got rid of the spot, and then it's still there." You know, and of course he's been using a spot remover in one bottle. He's got another bottle which has soda pop in it or something, and he gets the wrong bottle and drinks. Oh, look I'm frozen. Yeah, well, anyway. So here we are wiping off lenses and stuff like that, and it's on the wall. You could have a more flattering pose, but I suppose.
We solved it. Josh suggested it, since there's a color on the mat problem, we adjusted the mat and we got rid of it.
Tom is frozen on that camera now.
Yeah, it's not exactly the best pose, I think, but maybe I better play something, huh?
The continuing story of our adventures with the new equipment.
That's right. Well, we've gone high def, and we're cable casting in standard definition, of course, but that's another battle.
I
too.
see I'm still standard def, which
Yeah.
is a good thing.
Well,
I don't think the audience is ready for me in high def.
yeah. I don't think they'd like it too much if we put Vaseline over the lenses either. So,
Or shoot through gauze or
well, we can do that. That wouldn't hurt the camera, but the
Right.
Vaseline's really hard to get out. You know. When I was a kid, actually, I think I was in ninth grade. That was before it was still junior high in those days. It wasn't high school yet, or whatever the way it was distributed. But I was imported to the high school to do Bye Bye Birdie, and as a guitar player. So that was Birdie's side band. The guitar player behind him, as they lent me an electric guitar with a big kind of horn on it, and I learned how to play like that. And 50s rock thing. So I had my hair. They had to have our hair greased back. So a lot of the kids just went and got Vaseline. You see. And when I went to the supermarket there and Randall's. Well, that was the old days when they had Randall's. And I got a tube of top brass hair grease. I mean, like actual hair grease. You see, because then you just shampoo it right out. Vaseline.
Vaseline used to sell hair tonic too.
Yeah. Well, this is just Vaseline petroleum
Yeah,
jelly. But I mean,
which was probably a little thick.
well, the thing is, it didn't come out. It would just stay there for a long time. Your hair would be like, you could wash your hair, but it would still be,
I think shampoo should take it out.
didn't. No. Yeah, it didn't.
Maybe you need detergent.
Yeah, maybe you need a special kind of shampoo or something, but
Well, shampoo. Most shampoos are the same thing.
Yeah,
They're just a
detergent.
mild soap.
yeah. Yeah, but
A
this
friend
is
of mine worked for a chemical company over in Mapleton, Illinois, and that was their main product was shampoo base, and they sold it to a lot of different shampoo companies.
So you just put
Then-
different
then
colors.
each one added their color, and
fragrance.
some of them had like a dandruff additive or a fragrance or whatever that they added to it, but it's just a mild soap.
And then they make up a name for it, like some
Yeah.
sort of substance that doesn't really exist.
Right.
With,
Or what's even scarier, something that does.
yeah.
Remember when they used to sell hexachlorophene was a magic ingredient for a while?
Yeah, well, it was hexachlorophene. I've heard of it, but I don't remember what it does.
Well, it was like an antiseptic, but
Oh, yeah.
it's one of those things they decided causes cancer, so
Oh,
so they
yeah.
quit putting it in soap and toothpaste.
After we've all been using it for years. Yeah.
Because, there for a while, chlorophyll was a magic ingredient they put in a lot of things.
Uh-huh.
Carbon was a magic ingredient they put in a lot of things.
A lot of carbon and a lot of things around
Yeah.
us. Yeah. We're just trying to speculate how much asbestos a lot of us have
Oh yeah.
been
You know,
exposed to in our
most
lives.
buildings were insulated with asbestos up till like the 60s maybe.
Yeah, and then they still are. There's asbestos in my house.
Yeah.
It's covered, but it's in there somewhere on pipes and things, various places.
I was
Big
working
curtains.
over at the university in the 80s, and they were still going around doing asbestos removal.
Yeah. If I find something else, but thinking of Warren Zevon. Interesting guy, but he died of cancer.
Yeah.
But everybody figured he had kind of a compulsive sort of fellow. Had some, drank a lot of Tanqueray gin and so forth like that. I think he smoked, but it was asbestos that, this cancer is probably caused by asbestos that killed him.
That's what they thought about Steve McQueen too. He was a mechanic for a long time, did brake jobs, and the brakes used to all be made out of asbestos.
Yeah. Well, I lay my head on the railroad tracks, waiting on the double E. But the train don't run round here no more. Poor, poor, pitiful me. Warren Zevon. Poor, poor, pitiful me. Poor, poor, pitiful me. These young girls won't let me be. Lord have mercy on me. Woe is me. Well, I met a girl down in Hollywood. I ain't naming names. Yeah, she really worked me over good. She was just like Jesse James. Yeah, she really worked me over good. She was a credit to her gender. And she put me through some changes, Lord, sort of like a wearing blender. Poor, poor, pitiful me. Poor, poor, pitiful me. These young girls won't let me be. More, Lord have mercy on me. Woe is me. She put me through some changes, sort of like a wearing blender. She was a credit to her gender. Put me through some changes, sort of like a wearing blender. People don't write lyrics like that anymore.
And he was a band leader.
Yeah.
Fred Waring.
What?
Fred Waring was a band leader.
Fred Waring? Oh, yeah, a long time ago. Warren Zevon led David Letterman's band a bunch of times when the guy, what's his name, Paul Schaefer, or whatever,
Paul,
the Canadian guy, he was off doing something else, so Warren Zevon became the substitute leader, and did a good job. Think about Warren Zevon. I've been reading about a lot of people actually, just like interested in the people that I've heard, and wonder what their stories were and what I thought they were. And Warren Zevon was, when he was a kid, he lived near Igor Stravinsky. He'd go over to Igor Stravinsky's house. Stravinsky was an old man, and he was a promising piano student. I guess he and Warren Zevon's father was a Jewish Russian immigrant, and he was kind of like a henchman for some organized crime boss, and it's kind of weird, and then when his parents split up, he went off with his mother and everything, but and then when he was 16, he dropped out of school and went to New York to be a musician. But he's really smart, like he seemed to be educated and smart and everything like that. Just dropped out of high school. So I thought it was a very interesting kind of life. I mean, be a little kid going to Igor Stravinsky's house, and his father was this Russian Jewish
mobster,
henchman, and then he knew everybody. I mean, he was friends with everybody. In the West Coast songwriting people, in L.A. and everything like that. So, and he wrote lots of wild things. But Werewolves of London. There's a line like, "I wish I knew his tailor," or "I'd like to meet his tailor," about the werewolf. Things like all these kind of weird quips and things. Very different from anybody else. But anyway, Warren Zevon, interesting guy. Died 10 years ago already, maybe. I think time marches on.
Yeah.
Now, last night I was thinking of
Roy.
yeah. What's
Pretty
what's
Woman.
Yeah, Pretty Woman. What's
Roy Orbison.
Roy Orbison. I know that name. I was reading about him last night from Texas, from like a really oily town in Texas, and his parents were like unemployed during the Depression and everything like that, and all the kids in the family had really bad eyesight, so he had those really thick glasses, and his hair was this weird color of almost white, so he dyed it black, and one time he left his glasses on an airplane, so he had to wear his prescription sunglasses, and that was his look. And
So I'm telling that story. He did some publicity shots in sunglasses, so then he wore them all the time.
Yeah. Then but it also helped him because he was really shy. And his wife was unfaithful to him, and a lot, and a lot of his vulnerable things. And then she got killed. I guess they're both riding motorcycles, and she got killed. They got divorced, and they had a reconciliation. And then some years later, she got killed. And then both his sons were killed in the house that
House burned,
found,
It was supposed to be a fireproof house.
Yeah. So he had all these kind of things, and they married a German teenager or something, and had some more kids and stuff. And he died of a heart attack at 52. Just he had a lot of cholesterol and stuff. But an interesting guy.
Yeah.
And what made me interested is I have his iPod, and I got some new headphones, and I was listening to him doing I can't remember anything right now for some reason. Oh, Unchained Melody. Him singing it in decent headphones. But he did a really amazing, this incredibly passionate job of it. I had also Perry Como, because you scroll down through your menu in an iPod, and Perry Como was there next to him, and it was nice and everything, Perry Como and everything, but Roy, it was amazing.
Oh, Roy had a much bigger range than almost anybody.
Yeah.
Short of an opera singer.
Even not short of an opera singer.
Yeah.
He's like 4 octaves or something. Yeah. He was a baritone, a natural baritone, but he could go way high. I mean, he could go low. I mean, almost as low as me. But he could go way up high, and that wasn't even falsetto. It was like supported, So, yeah, it was really, amazing thing. So I read about him, but more about his life, and he had his share of tragedies and heartaches and everything like that. But he could sing like crazy, and kind of strange character. And also, he just did his own thing. The other rockers all had their own, like there were these sort of formulas, and he had his own formulas musicologically. I've known this all along, but I was just reading, people's descriptions of it, musicologists' descriptions of his songs being like several songs within songs, things like that, as opposed to you get your, Carl Perkins types and like that. He's very different. And then, of course, the British invasion, and he managed to hold on to his own for a while during the British invasion, even, because he was just that good. But 52 years old, making a big comeback, boom, heart attack. So, wow. Roy Orbison, when he was my age, been dead for 4 years. And he had made a big comeback. I haven't even.
Haven't made it the first time yet.
Anyway, nowhere close.
You need to get that one hit that you can retire on.
Yeah, that was my dream about some years ago, is to have a. I've known people who've done that. You know, I knew a guy
Sure.
who my brother knew this guy in Oregon, and I met him a couple times. But he was a piano player, but he had come up with Martian Boogie in the early '60s. It was like something about making contact with Martians, and it was a kind of a hit. And they made some money. And his father, the guy's father, was a financier type, a Wall Street kind of guy. So he invested it properly, so then he didn't actually. In the end, he didn't have to work anymore. He never had to do anything. So he went up to India got a guru and changed his name to Devahara, and and lived in Eugene, Oregon, in comfort. And so he was trying to make a comeback. Of course, he was a one-hit wonder, but
Oh, I always think Charlie Daniels. You know, his biggest hit was "Devil Went Down in Georgia." He had some other moderately successful songs, but that's the one he's been living on for like 30 years.
yeah. Has it only been 30? 1983? Yes, it was on the radio a lot 30 years ago. It's a boastful fiddle player song.
Yeah.
A lot of that boastfulness. This guitar, I haven't had this on the show for quite a while. It's been gathering dust on the wall at home. This is a Schecter Jazz 6. It was, I don't know when I got it, but I know that in 1999 I played a cigar and scotch night event. And I was booked as a jazz guitar player, which is something I'm always a little uncomfortable about because I know jazz guitar players don't make any money, and I have dependents and then I have my habits to support, and I'm kind of low rent, but I work steady. And jazz guitar players, a lot of times your bar tab is actually higher than what you got paid. So I don't want to be thought of as a jazz guitar player. Also, there are people who are very picky about what is jazz, and they're trying to quantify it or qualify it or whatever to make it. So that ain't jazz. You're like a finger-picking folk guitar player who knows some chord theory, doing some chord melody. I thought chord melody is part of jazz. See, what I'm doing is how is it different from what Joe Pass did? Well, he could swing. Hey, man. Anyway, I don't know, man. I'm not really a jazz guitar player, but I play one on television. I don't know. So that Unchained Melody, that was last week's effort. I worked that arrangement out last week. I sort of fooled around with it, but I didn't really know how it went, and I was playing it in C, so I decided to play it in G, because I actually had it in a fake book in G. So I could have translated it, but it's nice to.
Sound like you got through it all right.
It's all right, and then it's so pointed, like my darling. I go. It's a C major 7 chord, but this one is like, well, you can play a lot of different C major 7 chords. You could but this one is like, to me that says darling.
That was righteous, brother.
Thank you, righteous.
Supposedly that's how they got their name.
Because they were
performing somewhere and somebody said that was righteous, brother, and they thought there's a good name.
Maybe that's what I need is a stage name. Which was something to come up with.
Yeah.
Somebody calls me something and hey, schifoso. No,
Yeah, Guitar Tom hasn't caught on yet.
yeah, I suppose. Well, yeah, there's a website. We want to have guitartom.com, but somebody, North Carolina or someplace has that, and he's like holding on to it. It's parked. There's nothing on there. It's just parked, and it's like some guitar teacher. And, so I have this extremely low level of celebrity. You see, I'm recognized in the Hy-Vee in Iowa City, and maybe Coralville. But once I get up to Cedar Rapids, if I go to Hy-Vee, nobody knows me.
Well, they don't get Iowa City cable up there.
That's right. That's the thing. I mean, they could see me on YouTube, but yeah.
Yeah, have to get that one hit so they'll look for you on YouTube.
That's right. Or do something outrageous.
Yeah.
Like Steve King, I'll say something
Right.
really appalling in the public, and then and people will talk about it.
Or get a wedding party to work up a choreography for one of your songs.
Yeah, there you go. Huh.
Or get your cat to dance to it.
Get my cat involved. That's what we need to do. Of course,
Did you ever notice cats own YouTube?
Yeah, cats do own YouTube, but the thing about cats on YouTube is like you can put a message in a bottle, because in the ocean there's just so many. There's just so much ocean in one little bottle. There's chances of somebody finding it. Like cat videos. I mean, what is the percentage of cat videos? Now, there's some dog videos there too, of course, but.
Look how big Keyboard Cat got.
Yeah, yeah. There's some pretty good dog ones, though. I put one on my Twitter. It's way down this. If you go to Tom's my Twitter, thing, it's kind of far down there. But
I'm not on Twitter, so.
Well, you can watch Twitter. You can go to allthingsguitartom.com, and there's a little birdie on the bottom. You click on the birdie, and you'll get my Twitter feed. But way down there's one about this guy does a voiceover with a dog the dog wants a kitty, wants a kitten.
Yeah.
But the dog's moving its mouth, and there's somebody doing a voiceover, and it's perfect, like lip syncing to the dog's natural. Come on, come on. And then the dog's like dogs get like enthusiastic. They want to leave. They're like, come on, let's go, because he wants to go get the kitty.
Yeah.
And then he said, well, I went to the pet store and I looked at the snakes. Ew, snakes. He's like, and he said, I think I'll just go in. No, I didn't get one. Oh, you didn't. It's like this perfect voiceover for the dog, and the dog. And then it's an adoption thing for adopting kitties, because like animals like somebody to talk to, or something like that. I don't know, but it's just really it was cute. I like dogs. I don't want to.
Seen the one of the cat putting on a rabbit mask?
I haven't seen that one.
It's what it was. It's fake. They put a rabbit mask on a cat, and the cat took it off, and then they reversed the video. So they've got a cat putting on a rabbit mask.
Oh, I see. this thing. I'm working with um, a couple of young people who are doing jazz band in their various educational institutions, and I'm trying to like instill a love of chord theory. And there's a thing, you see, and the guitar, your basic low rent rock and roll thing to do is you play a power chord. It's 2 notes, right? The 1 and the 5. So you don't have to worry about whether it's like a minor 7 or a minor 9 or a minor 6/9. It's just like, you know. And if you're playing in the band, the jazz band, you know, they got horns and piano and stuff like that. Maybe nobody will notice you don't know what you're doing. That's what this. So I was talking to this kid about it because we were working on a thing, and I don't think he really wanted to go through my chord drilling like I do with him on the weeks, you know. And it's up at co-college, you know. And so he said, well, he could do just a 1 and a 5. I said, power chord. But he's got these things like a diminished chord has a flat 5. So if you play like right. So what if you want to play like a D minor 7 flat 5 or D half diminished? You play this chord. Oh, here, I'll play this chord. Let's play this one. It's bad. You see? And that's because, see, here I'm playing an A. This power chord is D and an A together. D, E, F, G, A. So it's a perfect 5th. But here's, see, so what I'm doing is I'm playing a that where the other guy's like this guy's playing an A and everybody else is playing an A flat. So that's how like see. So you can't even get by with power chords. See, there's one obvious solution to his problems. Do your homework and learn the chords. And it doesn't have to be, you know, the best chord. It could be a chord substitutions. You know, you can do. I have all these little tricks, you know, but you have to know what you're doing. It's just it's not that hard. It's not as hard as like, you know, geometry or something like that. So math is simpler. So if you have a chord like okay, here's a D, a D7 flat 9. It comes up a lot in jazz music. But if you don't want to play that, you can play a D sharp diminished. It's the same chord, only you're missing a note. I say, okay, you didn't play a wrong note, you just didn't play a note. And the note you didn't play was the root of the chord. But if you're standing next to a bass player, you got string bass player on this side, whose job is to play the root of the chord, and a piano player there who's playing the root of the chord, you can do this. And then, you know, and you'll be fine, see? So, you don't have to play the whole chord, just play, yeah. Anyway.
But you have to learn the chords to do that.
You have to know what the chords are to do that. I mean, you don't have to know all the chords. You have to know what you can get away with, you see. And only education will help that. So, anyway, these are my experiences teaching young people. You know, and then they got the juries to talk to the guy, you know, and the guy say, well, you know, I did this song, he learned it in high school. You know, he could play guitar and sing a song. Yeah. I say, well, that's not what we're here for, man. You're supposed to be doing what you learned this semester. But anyway, here I'm fighting my... I'm not frustrated. I'm just trying to domesticate it. Because, you know, if you want to be a guitar player, somebody's going to put a chart in front of you and expect you to know what you're doing. I have been in this position, you know, and sometimes I know more than other times. Now, in my old age, I pretty much know what to do, you see, when something like that happens. So you're in a studio, somebody's recording something, they need somebody who knows what they're doing. You know? Or, like, you know, last week, or it was a week before now, I don't know, I did a wedding. Yeah, the weekend before this last one here. And I had to play specific songs, accompanying a singer and everything like that. I had to do it right. And, you know, and I'll tell you, I've had the phone ring several times in my life with some preacher man, you know, like Uncle Floyd was supposed to play the guitar at the wedding. It ain't going to happen. When's the wedding?
Tomorrow?
10 o'clock in the morning. Tomorrow. Phone rings at 10 o'clock on Friday night. Yeah. What's the music going to be? So, and then I managed to make it all happen. Everybody's all grateful and stuff. I'm not a genius. I'm just like fairly competent, I suppose. So I say, this guy, you know, you too could have you too must learn the ways of the Schwartz. Sorry. The way this show is turning out is I don't play all through the thing. I mainly talk to you, Bob. When you're not around, I have troubles, you know. I know it's going to get cold someday and you're going to leave, but play a couple songs, a few songs. And but I mean, you know, if you want to hear me play, there's 4 gigs. Go to Mendoza Wine Bar, Tuscan Moon, or Journey Church up there off Oakdale Boulevard. This isn't a good guitar. This is a great guitar. Okay. Well,
So, still a lot to learn with that TriCaster.
huh. Is it much different from the other one, or is it?
Yeah,
Oh boy, I heard it was not that different, but
well,
I don't know.
More complicated, I suppose.
and you don't have that manual board, which is like, there are some keyboard shortcuts, but
Oh, I see. Oh, there's no shortcuts. There's no pen. There's no pen here, is there? Oh. Here's my
Yeah,
paper.
I got one.
Oh, I'm gonna. Oh, thanks. Signs of papers.
so, but thanks to Josh, we get that.
Yeah. I thought sure as world that was moving with the camera, but it just,
Well, it was. It was.
Yeah, it was, but just didn't.
well, it was moving against the camera, because it was standing still and I was moving the camera.
Signs of papers. Oh, my amp cools up. There's a squiggle in it.
And that frozen picture thing that we had briefly there.
Yeah.
There's a way you can freeze, and I must have inadvertently hit it. There's a little spot that you can freeze frame whatever's coming in on that line.
I was Skyping with my daughter last week, and her 3-year-old did something, their picture froze.
Hmm.
And she never did get it solved by the time we got off.
I've done it then. It's when Abram was a little kid, like he just learned how to pull himself up. He pulled himself on his mom's desk and he pushed the reset button on her old 486, you know, Intel chip or whatever it was, and computer. And it was and she didn't save. She didn't have the automatic save yet in those days.
Nope. So whatever was in there was gone.
It was her college paper, her graduate school paper. She still going to become an MBA. And
That was due the next day.
something like that, yeah. Clever little fellow. He's good with computers now. He's got a job at Integrated DNA Technologies, helping out with the
What do they do down there?
DNA stuff. I don't know, DNA testing. He does their website stuff and like computer stuff, helping out. But I had a guy who worked in the lab at night on the night shift. He took lessons from me for a while, and so you know, he just like running tests. He had a biology degree, and just doing testing and stuff.
Go by and see their sign. What are they doing in there?
Yeah, DNA stuff. They have products and stuff that they do.